This is Business Inspires, a monthly podcast of the Tri-Village Chamber Partnership. To run a successful business, you need resources, valuable connections, and community recognition. Business Inspires will provide you with the tools, resources, and examples to inspire you to create the business you're envisioning. Here's Michelle Wilson, Executive Director of the Tri-Village Chamber Partnership.
Welcome to Business Inspires. This is Michelle Wilson with the Tri-Village Chamber Partnership, and today we're talking with Jason Clayton of Vital Companies. Thank you for joining us, Jason.
Thank you for having me. It's great.
So this is the format where we ask a lot of hardball questions in rapid-fire format. Just kidding. This is where we're speaking with businesses to connect the listener to your business and, more importantly, to you and how you got to where you are, and so people know a little bit about you and why you do what you do every day. So you're with the Vital Companies, and we'll certainly get to that. But I'd like to know what Jason Clayton wanted to be when he was a little boy.
Wow. Interesting enough. I wanted to be a fireman. I did. I wanted to, and I think that's because when I was really little, I had a really cool fire truck, and it was really inspirational for me. I played with it all the time. People couldn't get rid of it. It was one of those things. It's really weird. Life has taken me through all kinds of different things and turns, but I think service was kind of my first want to do.
Good, that makes sense. So typically, that's an easier segue with what you wanted to do and where you are today.
Yeah.
You're nowhere near being a fireman.
No,
but maybe just reflect on of where you were when you were younger that got you to where you are today. Where did you find your inspiration?
Yeah. I think my father was definitely a huge inspiration in my life. When we were little, my dad traveled a lot with his business. He sold financial products to the military, so we lived in all kinds of crazy places. Lived in Germany, lived in Phoenix, lived in Hawaii. I spent a good time in my life basically being in German schools. So from kindergarten until about 6th or 7th grade, I was basically immersed into the German culture. My dad sold products to the military over there, and we were civilians, so we went into regular schools. So for 7-8 years of my life, I was a German and lived like a German and had German friends and was immersed in the culture. And we only spoke English when we were at home when my parents were around. So it was an amazing time for me because we got to travel everywhere and really get immersed in different cultures and, speak fluent German. I was in kindergarten when I was put into German schools. So for me to learn German was very easy because I was so young.
And you mentioned earlier having a life of service, and I know you've gone back to teach English in other countries before. So
yeah, I had a really cool opportunity. A friend of mine had this really cool company where he would go over to Austria. He's originally from Austria, but he formed this company where he'd go over to Austria and teach English immersion classes to Austrian high schools. So because I had already had a background in living in Germany and, I had done some teaching back in college, they asked me to come over and help them. And I had never done it before, but it was an amazing experience because it got me back to Europe and got me back into the culture. And I just love being there. Good.
Wonderful. So Vital Companies.
Yes.
Give me the elevator pitch.
The elevator pitch. Well, we're a video and audio production company at heart. We started the company 10 years ago, coming in June actually, and it's an ever evolving kind of business. We started off and still do really help tell people stories through visual communications, video in particular, and audio is a big part of it because video is works really well with audio. So. But I would say the last 3 or 4 years, it was one of the situations where we would create awesome videos for people, and then we'd give them to them, and we would see that they didn't really have a big plan on how they were going to distribute those videos, or they didn't really, have strategy on how they were going to get audiences to find them. They just by putting them on their homepage or putting them on their social channels without kind of marketing them, they weren't really getting the return on investment. So, and then we started seeing a lot of our clients asking us do you guys do strategy? Can you help us distribute them? So, about 4 or 5 years ago when content marketing became so popular, we really looked into how we can leverage that content marketing piece with the video production side. So, we've become kind of a little bit more like an agency in the sense that, we're now providing a lot more services to our clients than just helping them tell their stories through video. So now we're doing a lot more strategy with them and creating campaigns that are more integrated into their existing marketing plans, and helping them really do some content marketing audits through their social media channels, and really finding out the best way to leverage the content that we're creating for them. So it's become a way better relationship for us, because we're not just doing one and done kind of videos where we say, here's a really cool video, see you later. We're really working more with them as a team, almost an extension of their marketing departments, so that we can really understand what they're trying to achieve by creating videos, and then really helping them get the results. Because it's about creating the strategy, but if you don't have the analytics behind it, if you don't know who's seeing it, where they're seeing it, if it's hitting the point of what you're trying to market, then they're not getting the return. And digital media and digital marketing is such an amazing thing for businesses, because you can get the analytics. You can analyze, see who's actually watching the video. You can track it. And so you can really prove and see the return on their investment. So anybody that spends money on marketing wants a result. So that's truly kind of where we're moving towards, and have been for probably 3 years now. So
well, it seems to be ever changing. I mean, you have to keep up every day, and something seems to be different every day. So that's interesting. And tell me where you started with Vital, and how you got to where you are today.
Well, my best friend Fred and I, interesting enough, I used to play in bands. Freddie played in bands back in the day, and he owned bars and I played in bands, and that's how we got to know each other. And throughout the years, we've just been, great friends, and he's been an entrepreneur at heart, and so have I, and he's owned companies, and so have I. And at one point we started actually playing in a band together, and we were like, man, we should do some work together. It'd be cool to work together. And it was weird, because we had a couple different ideas, and it didn't really pan out, but we still kind of kept going at it. And then out of the blue, an opportunity came for us to start our own company. We really didn't have the money to stop everything we were doing and start a new company. So I had an old scanning company. We do document conversion, and interesting enough, we had an old client of mine call us out of the blue, and I was actually out of that business. I hadn't done it for like 7 years, called me and said, hey, we have this big project. You should come take a look at it. And I was like, well, I haven't really been in that business for a while. And long story short, it was worth a decent amount of money, and it was kind of what helped start our company. We ended up taking that scanning project on, which led to us creating our company, kind of. And it was one of those things where we didn't go into business trying to scan documents. We wanted to go into business doing something creative, because that's what we both loved. So at the time, I was recording my record in Freddie's house, because he had his own home studio. And his wife was pregnant, and he's like, man, I can't keep the studio in the house anymore, because we need it for the baby. So this all kind of happened at the same time, where we were already talking about getting our own recording space. And sure enough, when this past client called me for this job, it was enough seed money to help us start a business. So what we did was, and at the time we had formed a little music label, and we were recording the first band on the label. And so it was cool. We got the job scanning these documents and started our own scanning company in one side of the business. And then on the other side of the business, we created a recording studio. So in order to create the company, we had all of our musician friends that were on the label scan the documents during the day. And then we actually, they recorded and rocked and rolled at nighttime. And then we just slowly started implementing our video production. We had our business partner, John Doherty, who's now at the Columbus Film Commission. He came on board and kind of brought the video component into our business. And that capital and that seed money allowed us to grow our business into the creative company. So it's just weird how things pan out and things how it happens. But it's a cool story because, we just we didn't have a big marketing plan. We weren't like, hey, let's write a business plan, let's write a marketing plan. We were just like, we're going to build this and see what happens. And here we are 10 years later, and it's been a cool little small business story for sure.
So building your own business and doing two very separate things, one during the day, one during the night, what would you say your biggest challenges were?
Well, I will tell you, luckily enough, Fred's my business partner is an amazing business person. I have personally owned 2 or 3 businesses before I started this one, and one of the big downfalls of anybody that runs small businesses, if you try to do everything yourself, you don't get anywhere. And that was kind of my downfall. I was trying to, wear too many hats in the small business world, and never got to the point of really succeeding in what I was trying to. I mean, I was successful, but not to the level of where we are now. Fred came in and, he just had a lot of experience on all the back-end logistical things, from HR to payroll to all the things that, I don't really like doing. Mm-hmm. So it's been an amazing kind of partnership. I'm kind of the sales and marketing front of the house person. He's kind of the back of the house person. But one of the main things that we learned straight up is that, you create a culture for yourself. You create a business that, you learn from your experiences that you didn't like in past businesses or in past professional relationships. And we knew that we wanted to create something that was kind of different and more fair, right, for everyone that was working with us. So we wanted to create this culture. And the culture that everyone kind of, wins really in the business. So, we provide pretty great benefits for our employees, and we wanted to create more of an open culture. We didn't want to be that company where, you're constantly micromanaging people. We wanted it to be a kind of an open relationship and hire the right people for the right job and let them do their job. Of course, give them guidance, but so I think culture was a huge thing. That was when we started it, that was one thing we really looked at. Look, this is the kind of company that we want to be. We don't want to be like what we've experienced in the past. So that was one of the key things that we looked at. It's culture and vision of what we really wanted out of life and as people. And
I'm sure that carries through to your client. The culture. It does. And companies it's interesting because it's the whole 80-20 rule, right? You have when you have great relationships with your clients and you have that kind of win-win relationship with your clients, the results are just always so much better. So yeah, we truly come from a place of we really try to create a win-win relationship with our clients and with everybody in the business. It's not always easy. I mean, one of the things that we learned is, we were pretty open where we weren't micromanaging people, but some people can work in that culture and some people can't. Some people need to be told what to do. Right. Yes. And even though we were really quite transparent when in our hiring procedures of this is how we run our company, this is what we expect from people. We've had, probably a couple people that just couldn't work in that environment. Well, who wouldn't want to hear, that it's a great culture and that you have an open atmosphere, but when it comes down to reality, that's really tough for some folks, and they do need structure and they need a job description, and yeah.
Well, it's not, and let me tell you, we have job descriptions. We do reviews twice or sometimes 3 times a year. So that's not the issue. It's the sheer fact of we're not going to be setting up your calendar every day and tell you exactly here's your to-do list, right? I mean, we're giving you guidance on that, but we're not going to be the one to tell you exactly what to do, and that's. Like I said, for some people it works tremendously perfect, but other people just
right. It's just tougher.
It's tough.
Yeah. So when you face challenges within the business, what helps you persevere? What keeps you going? What's your passion that keeps you
That's a good
moving
question.
forward?
That's a good question. I think ultimately it's vision, having a vision, knowing vision, confidence, and understanding that there's going to be failures. I mean, it's really difficult to run a business. Plenty of times where in our lives that we as partners haven't taken any money and, just to make payroll and, the typical kind of small business issues. But I think vision, and I think just trust and confidence in myself and my business partner, Freddie. I mean, Freddie and I have been through a lot in our lives, and anytime there's been some adversity, it's, we create an opportunity to create results to get out of the adversity. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
like we don't
sure.
just sit there and run into a corner and hide. You have to figure out ways to overcome the adversity. And there's been plenty of them. And any small business owner knows that every day. But it's, creating that trust with who you're doing business with, and being able to pride yourself enough to pull up your pants and go get it done. I mean, it's really
I love that you said that you create opportunities to kind of get out of that situation. You can kind of get mired down and in the muck, and, it becomes difficult for some people to recover. And so
it's hard to live from fear. When you live out of fear instead of living out of opportunity,
right,
it can get really stressful. I mean, and I think, and it's hard for people because people typically, we as human beings, I think, live more from fear than we live from opportunity. And I think when you can kind of shift that mindset in yourself where, hey, there's always ways out. Let's think positively instead of negatively, and
right.
let's create the path to the opportunity. So, I mean, I think that's the hardest part. One of the things I learned a lot in the last probably 2 years is trying to shift out of that living from fear to living out of opportunity, because really the world will give you whatever you want. You just got to go get it.
Right.
Michelle will be right back with her guest on Business Inspires right after this.
This is Kelly.
And this is Leslie, and we're the Dollar Saving Divas. We've recorded a few podcasts about dining and shopping in Grandview, and we're excited to tell you about Dig the Tour Weekend in Grandview, June 16th and 17th. 3 big events in one weekend.
Friday, June 16th, the Tour de Grandview Cycling Classic attracts an international field of several hundred professional cyclists to Central Ohio, as well as cycling enthusiasts and spectators from throughout the Midwest. The tour features world-class bicycle racing through the streets of Grandview, as well as events and activities for spectators and cyclists alike.
The Tri-Village Chamber Partnership proudly presents Dig Fest on Saturday, June 17th, featuring the best in local craft beers, liquors, and wines with music and entertainment, all at the Grandview Yard.
And don't forget the St. Christopher Parish Festival, featuring live bands and fun for the entire family.
For more information on Dig the Tour weekend events and to book your accommodations, head to destinationgrandview.org.
And now back to Michelle and her guest on Business Inspires.
So as you know, the name of this is Business Inspires. So tell me if you had one great piece of inspiration along the way, or if there was something inspirational that you could tell somebody starting their own business or in business that faces challenges, or just is there anything that has personally inspired you to keep going or to start your business?
Well, I think passion is number one. I mean, why I think we've been successful in the last 10 years, and, keeping a business for 10 years is difficult as is.
Sure.
But, I think it's the passion of we want to be creative. I mean, we started this company because we wanted to figure out a way that we could take the things that we love, music and video, and be creative every day and make money from it, actually have a living from it, and be able to support people. I mean, we got 8 employees, so we're helping these employees in our community. And so I think a lot of it's really based upon having passion, having a passion saying, I don't want to go work 9 to 5 in a cubicle. That was not our vision. That's not what we wanted to do. Right. So really having a vision and having a passion of what you truly love to do, and being able to take that and make it into a business where you're financially supporting people and supporting yourself and your community. So I think that's ultimately is the best thing. You always say if you do what you love to do, it's not a job, right? So I mean, I will tell you, very few times in my life in 10 years that I've driven up to my company, I'm like, God, I don't want to go in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and I've
sure.
been in plenty of jobs where I was like, God, I don't want to go in there.
Yeah.
So because it's the creative environment, because it's what we've built and kind of where we wanted to go, the vision and being able to be creative with people. So every day is so different. We've got so many cool clients, and being in the marketing and creative field, you have to get to know all these little businesses that you're marketing for. So you're basically going back to school every day because you're learning these different businesses. And you have to be entrenched and immersed with them to understand how to market them. So it's so cool to learn. I mean, we deal with like super abrasions and things that I would never ever think that I would learn about.
I don't even know what you just said.
Well, Abrasive Technology is one of our clients, and they make abrasives like wheels that cut and grind and do things for like the space shuttle and all kinds of crazy
cool.
things. And you have to learn this. It's diamonds that cut the stuff, and it's crazy. It's amazing it's an amazing company that's right here in Columbus. So
In Tri-Village.
yeah.
And so you've mentioned community a couple of times,
Yeah.
working within the community, giving back to the community, and you've certainly done that with the Tri-Village Chamber, but maybe talk quickly about some of the other community projects that you are involved with, because you're involved in plenty.
We do a lot. I mean, I think any nonprofit, really obviously needs to be able to tell their story. And a lot of their fundraising events, it's always about video and having a really great video that tells your story to be able to inspire their members or inspire their donors about helping to help push them down their vision and their path. When we first started our company, and one of the first things that we did is we partnered with the Columbus Metropolitan Library, and we wanted to create something for the children, the kids, the teenagers. And we actually volunteered a lot of our time in a film school for kids for free. And this was a completely donated thing that we did for the library. It was really cool. We did it for a total of like 4 to 6 weeks, and we had like 24 kids in 2 different locations of the library, and we taught them all about making films. And we spent a good 4 hours with them twice a week for 6 weeks, and it was throughout the summer, so that allowed them to learn more about they got them off the streets. They got them out, they got them into the libraries, and it was amazing to see that kind of give back and to see. This was 7-8 years ago. So at that time, video was just still sort of kind of coming up, and we were using flip cameras, if you remember those.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Even the videos on your mobile weren't good enough at the time. So it was an amazing experience. I mean, I think we really brought some love to the kids, and the whole company got involved. It wasn't just like one person, everybody came and taught, and it was neat. At the end of it, everyone showed their films, and we had kind of like, a viewing party, and their parents came, and it was really, really cool. But we've done things like that over and over and over again. I think we're all kind of entrenched in Columbus. We know that Columbus is an amazing city, and we really want to help tell that story that most people don't know.
Right.
And I think that give back to nonprofits. We work a lot with Dress for Success, and they've been a great partner for us over the years. We've been working with them probably the longest out of the whole since we've been a company. Just what they have built and done for women has been amazing. And talk about having a return on an investment. If you go back and look at their stats and what they've done for women in the community, actually they're coming up on their 10th year. And Vicki Bowen Hughes is an amazing leader, and she's very inspirational to me. Every time I'm around her, I just feel I just feel so much more inspired. That woman is just the nicest person I think I've ever met. And
she is, and her passion shows.
It's nuts
Yes.
How much her passion shows.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
I mean, we're constantly getting involved. People are always asking. For us, unfortunately, we have to kind of, we have to say, look, we have only a certain amount of resources that we can put towards this. So we have to pick and choose on really the kind of community involvement that we do get involved with.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I know, again, you've done some things for the chamber because you're on our board and have been for several years, and it's really helped our exposure. So you do a lot of great things. And speaking to your culture, I know a lot of your staff, and I can vouch for it entirely that it's a great, passionate group of people. So I can imagine that with the nitty-gritty of work every day, doing some of these community projects probably does feel very good for them.
Well, it's great. I mean, I think a lot of times in our world, since we do a lot of commercial work, and it can get, sometimes you get mired in just doing a project and it doesn't feel as creative as, or it's something that you do kind of over and over again, so you kind of lose a little bit of the creativity. I think any time that you can get your team around, as a group, and they're all like, yes, we want to do this, or yes, we want to give back, or yes, here's a really cool project we want to get involved with, that just builds that amazing kind of, what's the word, just a good vibe in the sense of they care, right? They want to get out in front of it, and they really want to try to put their best foot forward. So it takes away from some of the monotony of the day-to-day stuff, and it really gets their creative juices flowing again to really, how can we really help this and get behind that. And I think the type of people that you hire and the kind of culture that you create attracts those kinds of people. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, of course.
That give back, that we care thing, it comes a lot from the culture too.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Okay, so who are your clients? If somebody is looking for your services, how do we get people to you?
Well, I mean, we do work for. There's no specific kind of, hey, we have one type of client. Now we work in some certain types of fields, but we work with small companies all the way up to Fortune 500 companies, and we have.
What makes somebody make that leap to call you?
Well, because I think they want to, be able to tell our story, and I would hope that they look at our work and see that, we create results and that we are great storytellers. I think more so than anything, and I don't necessarily think this is more of a behind the scenes thing, but I think we're pretty easy to engage with. I think our process is pretty, pretty easy. We're kind of easygoing people. We're really, we take everything seriously, but it's, there's policies and procedures on how we, engage with our clients. But I think, just being able to understand people and connect with your client and our staff and our people are, everyone says that, but your staff and your people are your business. And, I think if they look at our work and really get to know our staff, then there's been very few clients in our 10 years that have opted not to work with us after they worked with us. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. From maybe a bad experience. And we've definitely, we all screw up, and we've done that, and we failed certain terms. But, I think the people that are able to, fix those problems, or, go back and give or figure out how to repair that relationship, those are the kinds of clients or companies that really do succeed, because we're all human, we all make mistakes, and things happen, and sometimes it's not even in your control. But the ones that really figure out a way to overcome that obstacle and repair that relationship,
sure,
those are the ones that kinds of companies that I'd want to work for, because like I said, we all make mistakes. But for us, I think it's our work, it's what we do, it's our people. From a cost standpoint, I wouldn't say we're the most expensive, and I wouldn't say we're the cheapest. We're kind of, I would say, probably right there in the middle as far as cost engagement. But for us, we really try to work within people's budgets. That's really key for us. So that's why I'm saying, we work with larger corporations that have larger budgets, mm-hmm, and you can do a bigger production. But the cool thing about video production is, you can produce anything, right? With any kind of budget. So, if you have an idea and you want to engage, and we don't turn anybody away. If they're saying, hey, I have an idea, but I only have X amount, we'd be like, well, we can only do this for you. Or, hey, we would refer you to someone else that wasn't as expensive as we would be. We would try to really help work within that budget for them.
Great. So tell me how people find you.
Well, we're content marketing people, so we're all over the social channels. So, we're on obviously Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. Our website is vitalcompanies.com. You can definitely check us out there. Really take a look at what we're doing and see. And, we really like to send out a lot of our newsletters to invite people to see what we've been currently working on. We do a couple recaps. We try to send a newsletter out with a lot of our work. Twice a month, we send kind of like an initial, hey, this is what we're up to, and then kind of a recap of what we've done that previous month, or who we're working with. It's great from a content marketing standpoint. It's awesome because we get to show off our work for our clients, so we're also promoting our clients. It's a win-win for us,
Sure.
So in our marketing, our goal is to promote our clients, because we're promoting our work. So it's kind of neat. But that's where they can find us. I mean, we're all over the place. Just Google vitalcompanies.com. You're not going to have a problem finding us.
Perfect. Well, Jason, thank you so much for joining us on Business Inspires. Great company. Glad to work with you. Glad to know you.
You're the best, Michelle. Thank you so much.
Thanks for subscribing, downloading, and listening to Business Inspires, a monthly podcast of the Tri-Village Chamber Partnership. Our innovative and active chamber is successful because of our smart and engaged members who cultivate our strong business community. With more than 60 years as an integral part of the Grandview, Upper Arlington, and Marble Cliff communities, the Tri-Village Chamber Partnership is dedicated to a single purpose: the success of the business community. You can find a link to our website in the podcast notes to learn more about the Tri-Village Chamber Partnership. For information about this podcast, to schedule a guest appearance, or to find out more about sponsoring this podcast, our contact information is in the podcast notes. Make sure you rate and review our podcast on iTunes. That helps us spread the word about Business Inspires.
Circle270media.com.